Okay, so it's like day 4 maybe, 4 or 5, putting in a decent amount of time on the 911. The last day we worked on it, we got the motor disassembled and just sort of evaluate everything. Ended up being gonna need cylinders and pistons and a reseal basically. Now I'm gonna start sandblasting everything. I ordered cylinders, pistons, a bunch of other parts. So while I'm waiting on that, I can start sandblasting some of these parts here and prepping them for powder coat. That's why the compressor's running right now. I have a sandblast cabinet over there. So a lot of these brackets and stuff need to be taken down to bare metal, and then I can powder coat them here at home. There's quite a few things that I plan on cleaning up, and yeah. So I have a bunch of stuff sandblasted, ready for powder coat. A few things left to sandblast over there. Super excited to rebuild this alternator fan setup that air-cooled 911s have. This fan sits on top of the motor, and it's actually a part of the alternator, and that bolts in the center. But I've always seen them look super cruddy, and when they are refinished, they look beautiful. So I'm stoked to be able to do this. I'm gonna blast the bracket that holds it on, and this is gonna go to zinc plating, and all this other stuff, the fuel lines, the throttle body arm, that's gonna get re-zinc plated, and some hardware as well. I got half the motor done in terms of removing the old head studs, because these are known to break over time. So I'm gonna replace all these. They're not super cheap, between like 600 and 250 bucks, depending on what brand and where you get them. And you can get ARP. Yeah. So I got to work on the other side. It was pretty cumbersome to get those off, but it wasn't too bad. Probably 20-30 minutes to get half the motor apart. And everything's just going to go back to a satin black, most likely. The fan itself is probably going to be a dark gray, which is what factory should be. I thought about just doing like an OEM Plus and just picking something maybe a little more flashy, since it is like the centerpiece of the whole motor and the engine bay. So we'll see there. But this crusty bracket is going to look brand new. It's going to be like a bright zinc gold color, along with all of this other stuff. So that sounds bad, but pulling these studs out, these head studs, there's 24 of them, and it's horrible. They're really in there. So you have to heat the block a little bit, but you got to be careful because it's, I don't know, old. It's magnesium. But I was doing it the old-fashioned way, just putting a nut in a nut, you know, double nutting it and backing a stud out. I mean, that's the way you do it. But with 24 of them, and they're not easy, adding some heat, old Porsche block. I mean, so I bought this thing on Amazon. It was like 18 bucks. Oh my gosh. It's coming off right away. Huge, game changer. There's a tool for everything, mostly made in China. And this thing is awesome. Just look up like stud remover tool. Works super well. So I just got home from the store, and my ultrasonic cleaner came in, which I'm super excited about. My friend Mike recommended this to me. You get for like 300 bucks on Amazon, but I needed a way to clean all these parts. So a couple of things that I've been super eager to get into the ultrasonic cleaner are the throttle body assemblies. They just look horrible. a bunch of just oil, residue, corrosion from the car sitting. And I'm hoping that the ultrasonic cleaner can make quick work of this. Me being me, I ended up calling Simple Green, and they said that the all-purpose cleaner is perfectly adequate for an ultrasonic cleaner. But they ultimately recommended the Pro HD for automotive use. They said that just the way that it's made, you can basically leave stuff in there as long as you want at a 3-to-1 ratio, and it's not going to harm your parts. The all-purpose cleaner you have to be a little bit more careful with, and things can get damaged if you leave them in too long. Depending on your dilution rate, you could only leave stuff in there for like 3 minutes to 6 minutes. They said with the Pro HD, you could leave it in there for a half an hour or whatever. There was no time limit. So I ended up leaving and finding Pro HD at Home Depot, and we're gonna try that out. So just for an idea of how this thing looks beforehand, no scrubbing or anything like that, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so I just did 6 minutes. It didn't even get up to temp yet, but I don't think that you have to leave it up to temp. I'm sure it helps a great deal. So the water's definitely dirty. So after 6 minutes, bring it to the engine table. Oh yeah. Great deal that the junk is gone. Not a ton inside of the throttle bodies themselves. Well, actually, yeah, did a pretty good amount. So I think we can leave this in there a little longer, let it do some more work. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. It saves a ton of wire brush time and parts washer and cleaning, and just let it do its thing, and I can go on the sandblaster. So here's the final result after 20-30 minutes in the cleaner. It took a great deal of oil and corrosion off. You can see compared to the old one, just the color difference. I mean, this is the old one, or the other one I didn't do anyway, versus this one. And I haven't rinsed this off or hit it with a brush or anything yet. So overall, super happy with it. The cylinder heads out of the deep fryer. Yeah, I might want to tilt her a little bit, drain some of that.
Yeah, see that middle one cleaned up a lot more.
Probably because it was by itself, I assume. So I'm thinking we got to put them in by themselves.
Yeah, there's probably not enough cavitation area or something like that.
Yeah. You can see versus those ones, the difference.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
So, we started disassembling the heads. We started with head number 5 because that is the one that had some contact here. I don't know how, but shockingly, it is perfectly true. The lack of sealing is definitely from just some surface rust, so this is going to get blasted and cleaned, and likely recheck the valves and then relap them. Going to do new seals and just work on getting the rest of them apart. That's actually a different valve seal.
It is 100%.
So this looks replaced with something more modern compared to the other head. All right, back up. We figured it out. It looks like every cylinder head has this, what appears to be an updated valve seal. And then the cylinder that had the valve contact had a different valve seal type on it. So it's looking like this is old damage. Someone just reused this piston and then replaced one of the cylinder heads, because this is the only cylinder head that has that style of valve seal. So this is probably an old disassembly job that someone fixed who knows how long ago. I mean, it wasn't done by the previous owner, so this could have been 20, 30, 40 years ago. But that makes me feel a little better, because it's not like this motor had been sitting. It was running like this before. So that's actually good news and mystery solved. So probably still do valve seals and all that, but figures out, or helps figure out why that was like that and none of the valves were bent.